Hey, hi, hello. Gotta film this video before the sun goes down. Look, hey, hi, hello. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess. We just have a little bit of mess to get into today. It's about publishing. Let's not be surprised. So, free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan, free all of the countries, all the people who are suffering under these oppressive governments. I have information linked below where you can educate yourself, learn about it, share these things on your social media, because we can't know everything. We're very limited in what we can do, unfortunately, but we can educate ourselves. We can share that information, like at the very least. So I'm sure if you've been on the bookish internet, you may have heard of the boycotting at St. Martin's Press. So St. Martin's Press, I think, is under Hachette. No, they're an imprint of Macmillan. And so they're an imprint of Macmillan, and then they have imprints. And so there's St. Martin's Press, there's Castle Point Books, Minotaur Books, St. Martin's Essentials, Wednesday Books, and St. Martin's Griffins. St. Martin's Griffin. So I don't know where the original video is, or videos, or account, or what person this is in reference to, but there is a person who works at St. Martin's Press.
So it has now been 10 days since St. Martin's Press learned of the racist, Islamophobic, and arguably queerphobic vitriol that its employee was posting loudly and proudly online, and they have remained silent. They have not addressed it, and they have not emailed any of us back about our concerns, so it's officially time for a boycott. For those of you who haven't seen the Instagram stories in question from the St. Martin's Press marketing employee, I'm going to share them all now. This is one of them. Here's another, and another one. Please keep in mind that these aren't even all of them. These are just the ones I happen to screenshot. Using the term Pallywood, which is meant to diminish and dehumanize Palestinians who dare record Israel's violence against them and share it online. More posting. Seriously, just so much posting. A fun little share from PragerU. And we'll round it off with this. Now, normally I wouldn't necessarily equate Twitter likes with a person's personal belief system, but that person also did like all of these tweets, which I think goes to show how deep their racism runs. This is the first, openly advocating for the genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. This one, which contains outright lies that are meant to dehumanize Palestinians and manufacture consent for genocide, justifying the occupation of Palestinians as if they are just so savage. They must be kept in prison. They must be locked up. They must have their land stolen and occupied. Known racist, for the record, advocating against a ceasefire, the continuation of the complete massacre of Palestinians. Once again, advocating for keeping Palestinians in an open-air prison. Complete and total lie. In fact, Israel told Palestinians to evacuate south, and then it bombed the evacuation route, and it bombed the Rafah border crossing into Egypt, and it is refusing to allow aid into Palestine. In fact, today, after 2 weeks of pressure, it allowed 20 humanitarian aid trucks into Gaza for a population of 2.2 million, when on a normal day of occupation and imprisonment, 100 trucks enter Gaza. So this is actually less than a day not under complete and total bombardment by Israel. Once again, spreading racist, hateful propaganda that was debunked and again is used to manufacture consent for genocide, meant to display all Palestinians as these kinds of savage, backwards people who would behead babies. This isn't a passing racism. This is a deeply held racist belief system of an employee who works on the marketing team of St. Martin's Press. I and other book influencers of conscience are asking everyone on Book Talk, BookTube, Bookstagram, anywhere that you may post reviews, to boycott St. Martin's Press and its imprints and refuse to post any reviews for its titles until they do the following. 1. Address and denounce the racism spouted by their employee. 2. Offer tangible steps for how they're going to mitigate the harm that this employee caused. 3. Address how moving forward they are going to support and protect their Palestinian, Arab, brown, and Muslim authors, readers, and influencers, as well as their Black, Indigenous, and other people of color readers, authors, and influencers. A person who is willing to spew racist propaganda online for all to see is certainly willing and capable of bringing that racism into the workplace, which affects all of us in this community. Already, I and other brown and Muslim influencers have speculated on how we have been treated differently by St. Martin's Press than our white friends and fellow influencers. Authors of color are worried about having their books in this employee's hands. fans. This kind of rhetoric has far-reaching consequences, especially when it is coming from a publisher's marketing team. For clarity's sake, this boycott encompasses all of St. Martin's publishing group. It does not encompass all of Macmillan. So these are the affected imprints, not the rest of these, but just Griffin, Minotaur, St. Martin's Paperback, St. Martin's Press, everything under this. Wednesday Books, that's a big one. Wednesday Books is the imprint that publishes Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. So yes, that means no posting about Divine Rivals or Ruthless Vows. The boycott does not mean that you shouldn't be purchasing books that fall under St. Martin's Publishing Group, but it does mean that you should not be posting about those books. I do want to note that there are authors who are contractually obligated to post about their books, and were contractually obligated to do so prior to the start of this boycott, so they're not crossing any picket line by fulfilling those contractual obligations. For those outside of the US, please show your support. I understand that boycotting is difficult because internationally publishers do not exactly overlap, but post your support, and if there are titles that you know fall under St. Martin's Press here in the US, such as Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows, please withhold any reviews or posts about those titles. Publishers love to talk about diversity and inclusion and their theoretical stand against racism, but when confronted with actual racism, they are silent, and they think that we will forget if they continue to remain silent. That is not the case. We will not forget. We are going to boycott until they address this racism.
As of today, which is November 4th, that I know of, they're still employed there. And they are in charge of like the ARC, so Advanced Reader Copy Division. And seems like there's some fucked up shit going on there. So this is an Instagram post. I'm gonna read you the caption and have the image here. Today starts our boycott of St. Martin's Press. They spent over a week being radio silent. Now that was on October 21st. It is still November 3rd. This is still ongoing. This employee was not only spewing the most vile, racist vitriol on their public platforms, but has also seemingly been exhibiting racist behavior in the workplace. They are partly in charge of marketing / sending out ARCs to readers and seem to have a pattern of not sending any requested ARCs to certain brown and Muslim readers. St. Martin's Press has ignored emails and call-out videos for over a week. Their silence say they condone racism, and as such will be boycotting them until they speak out about this and take action with the employee. Boycott specifics. You can still read books under this imprint, however, we will not be platforming them, which means no talking about them on social media, very similar to the HarperCollins strike. This is only for St. Martin's Press and its imprints. Other groups under Macmillan are not impacted by the boycott yet. So I will link that down below. But yeah, so like the HarperCollins ones, it's not to punish the authors. So don't saying blah. They're not saying not to read the books, but instead of, you know, giving them free press on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, no, none of that. And so again, I did not see what the original person said. Like I heard about this, but I didn't see the original thing. But I know it was in reference to the increasing aggression in Palestine. And I just, at this point, I don't even want to know what they said. I have too much up here that I've already seen that's disgusted me enough. But it's mind-boggling, because if we go back to 2020, you'll probably see somewhere on St. Martin's Press Instagram about Black Lives Matter. They probably had a black square, and we stand in solidarity with our black brothers and sisters, or something bullshit like that. You probably saw that. It's just very interesting seeing all of these companies who did that, which most of us didn't take them seriously then anyway, but it's just very interesting to see that, and then also support for Ukraine, but now it's silence. That's interesting. That's interesting. And it's not like St. Martin's Press doesn't have any idea what's going on. They have people on social media. That is like, you have people who watch out for things going on like this, see what discourse is going on, what people are talking about. You know they've heard about this, and then they just choose to not say anything. Okay. All right. Noted. So yeah, before you think to share a review, a photo of a book, maybe just double check the imprint and see if it is St. Martin's Press or one under there, and then be like, you just got to talk to your in real life friends about it, or message your friends on the internet, but don't be posted about it. Don't be giving them no free publicity. Free publicity. It's the beast of our memes. Sorry. Because they get enough of it as it is, and then you already have someone who's discriminating against readers requesting ARCs. I saw a TikTok, it was a white dude, and he was like, it's very interesting because I've received every ebook I've ever requested from St. Martin's Press. And do I talk about them that often? No. He was like, since that was a smaller account, but he's like, but other people who have larger platforms, who actually like want these books, read these books, they're represented in these books, don't get these books that they're requesting. Isn't that interesting? I wonder why that is. Just baffling that people really know we live on the interwebs, know all of this stuff can be documented and preserved, and still want to do dumb shit like this. Well, you know what? I hope you have the days you deserve, St. Martin's Press. I hope you have the days you deserve. Is my camera crooked? It's possible. I'm not fixing it. This other thing is bookish. Kind of. So one of my patrons sent me this link to this article, and I was like, I don't know what this is. So it says Mark Meadows, book publisher, sues him for lying in book. So I'm like, who's Mark Meadows? So he was the former White House chief of staff for Trumpelstiltskin. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Mark Randall Meadows is an American. Mark Randall Meadows as an American politician who served as the 29th White House Chief of Staff from 2020 to 2021. As a member of the Republican Party, he also served as the U.S. Representative for North Carolina's 11th Congressional District from 2013 to 2020. So, Marky Mark wrote a book. But Marky Mark lied in his book. So the publisher who published Mark's book, which we'll get to their raggedy asses in a second, All Seasons Press, is asking for $350,000, which was the advance that they paid to him. $600,000 in additional compensatory damages for expenses, and $1 million and reputational damages suffered by the company for their association with Meadows. That is my favorite part. They want $1 million for reputational damages suffered by the company for their association with Meadows. Just remember that, okay? So, the lawsuit alleges that the publisher expressed concerns with lies in the book very early on and withheld installments that were supposed to be paid even after being threatened by Meadows' attorney. The company alleges that once news broke that Meadows was cooperating with prosecutors on October 24th, sales bottomed out and the book only sold 60,000 copies. The company based the advance it paid to Meadows on anticipated sales of at least 200,000 copies. The lawsuit alleges that Meadows' testimony to the grand jury squarely contradicts the statements in his book that President Trump was the true winner of the 2020 election. The book alleged that the election was stolen and rigged with the assistance of the liberal media. These statements in the book are directly contradicted by his testimony. The publisher demanded a jury trial. And there is a link to the lawsuit they filed. Okay, it's really early, so my voice is raspy. I'm sorry, but I realized I forgot to put in what they actually were saying. He said versus what was in the book. So this is from Publishers Weekly. I'll link it below. But they said the lawsuit comes after ABC News reported on October 24th that Meadows reportedly told investigators that he has never seen any evidence of fraud that would have kept now President Joe Biden from the White House, and that neither he nor Trump truly believe the election was stolen. Such statements, if accurate, would squarely contradict statements Meadows made in his book. The complaint states, a central theme of which is that the President Trump was the true winner of the 2020 presidential election, in clear and direct breach of contract provisions in which Meadows warranted that all statements in the book were true and accurate. The suit represents a surprising escalation by the publisher. In the complaint, All Seasons Press, lawyers concede they are relying on media reports and that they don't actually know what, if anything, Meadows may have told investigators. Furthermore, an attorney for Meadows has since told CBS News that the ABC report is largely inaccurate. Nevertheless,
The All Seasons Press complaint suggests that widespread reports of Meadows' cooperation has contributed to tanking book sales. Oh, darn. The complaint says that the book has sold 60,000 copies out of a 200,000 first printing, and that the publisher felt ethically obligated to pull the book off the market, which the complaint says it did on November 2nd. Figures from Circana BookScan, which collects data from outlets that represent 85% of print sales, reported that the book has sold over 23,000 copies since its release, including 533 copies in 2023. While the book is no longer listed on the All Seasons Press website at press time, it remains available both in print and digital formats on various retail sites, including Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Launched in 2021 by Louise Burke and Kate Hartston, publishing veterans with a background in publishing conservative authors, All Seasons Press has published a number of popular conservative titles since its inception, including Sucker and Trump Time, blah, blah, blah. Burke was co-founder of Simon & Schuster's conservative imprint, Threshold Editions, and went on to be president and publisher of Simon & Schuster's Gallery Books Group before leaving in 2017. Harston was editorial director of Hachette Books before she was fired. So I am just, you will see me rant in a moment, but I'm just cackling that they felt ethically obliged or obligated. I think I read that wrong. Ethically obliged to pull the book from the market because they're like, oh no, was he telling lies? My conservative author lied? Get the fuck out of here.
Let's go back up. All Seasons Press, right? Want $1 million in reputational damages suffered by the company for their association with Meadows. So I'm like, let me look up All Seasons Press. The first thing you are attacked with is this ugly no-lipped mug. So I already have zero sympathy for you. Like, I already knew this is gonna be fucked, but I have zero sympathy for you when you got this little bitch on here, Tucker. Nobody gives a goddamn about this lying sack of shit. And then you scroll down, and there's another book. So I don't know who this hoe is. She's in a Canadian tuxedo. Sorry, Canada, but she is in this denim on denim. It looks hideous. I don't know who styled this cover. Levi's Unbuttoned. The woke mob took my job, but gave me my voice. Great, Jennifer. Go suck it. Oh, this says she was a U.S. national gymnastics champion through her rise to the corporate ladder at Levi's. Meh. And so she was a high-profile executive that fell victim to cancel culture engulfing America. Oh, damn it. Then you look at their library or catalog, and they have Rush on the Radio, a tribute to Rush Limbaugh, and Trump Time. They just have these other books sound terrible. They have a book called The Real Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, Big Pharma, The Global War on Democracy and Public Health. Yeah, okay. And then we have that one, Leah Button, something else. No one cares. The Bodies of Others, The New Authoritarians, COVID-19 and the War Against the Human. All of this sounds stupid. They don't really give it about us on here, which is very interesting. They just have FAQs. Oh, look, if we go back to 2021, All Seasons Press started by former executives from Simon & Schuster and Hachette, plans to publish books by former Trump officials Mark Meadows and Peter Navarro. So they said that they wanted to publish, more Republican or conservative voices that were finding it hard to be published by under other publishers. So they're welcoming conservative writers rejected elsewhere. Y'all are so stank! It says it all started with our first storefront in Richmond, Virginia. The small space focused on our passion for photography with books, magazine, and weekly talks. We then quickly expanded to 7 stores throughout the U.S. We now focus on books and magazines. Blah, 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 blah. No one cares. No one cares. You guys suck a dick. You decided to get into bed with stupidity, and now you should suffer for it. I hope your little shitty reputation, I don't know if you had one before because I didn't know your name, and I feel like I know a lot of things. I don't know everything. But you already had a little shitty reputation because I didn't know your name, and I hope it goes down the toilet and you lose more money. Because fuck you, bitch. Seriously, you had concerns over the things in the book. You fucking knew he was lying. And now that he's gonna be testifying and it's gonna be in fucking actual like federal documents, now you're like, oh wait, okay, no. We didn't agree to that. We didn't know we want our money, but oh, suck it. Shove it up your ass. I hope you lose all of the money that you wanted to gain. I hope you go broke. I hope you have to close your doors. Fuck you, All Seasons Press, and everyone who works there. A big fuck you, because you're stupid. And so you play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You really want $1 million for damaging? Bitch! I have to laugh. It's hilarious. So anyway, hope Mark goes to jail. Hope All Season Press shuts its doors and we are spared from any more political books. And notice I did not just say conservative. I don't want to hear none of it. I don't want to hear none of it, because 99.5% of politicians who are going to get up to a level where they're going to be writing a book and people are going to want to read it, you sold out at some point. So I don't want to hear shit from you. The 99.5. Now the 0.5, I'd listen. I read a book by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm sick of it. Like, what did you think? These major publishers are saying, we don't want your book here. Probably because they know there's a lot of fucking lies in their book, and that's gonna bring help. They're gonna run into some trouble. But you're like, no, come over here. We'll give you the space. We won't let those woke libs shut you up. And well, now look at the consequences of your actions. I hope you land in jail somehow. I don't know. And you know, I know I'm supposed to be against the carceral state, but sometimes I just want you people to suffer. You terrible people, because I know it's not just publishing these books. It's beyond that. There's more depth than just wanting to have an even space for people to go and free speech. It's because you're hateful your fucking selves, and you wanted to help hateful people publish their hateful fucking shit and their hateful lies, and now it came to bite you in your flat ass. So fuck you, All Seasons Press. Hope your company closes. Fuck Mark. Fuck Trump. Fuck everybody. Not everybody, but you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So St. Martin's Press, get it together quickly. Hopefully by the time you see this video, they will have come to their senses, but it's possible they did not. So when I put this video up, I'll put a note in the description box to tell you, as of this day, if the boycott is still going on. I could be late because this started, you know, at the end of October, started at the beginning of November. How is it November 20? Let's not do it. Let's not do it. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got right now. I'm sure there's other things going on. I just can't keep up with them all. And these were just right there. So I had to get them off my chest.
Hey, another editing Jessica here. I wanted to add in that, so my video about Bindery, some of the people from Bindery saw it and they emailed me. And they said they would be happy to answer any questions. So I am going to talk to them. And if you have any questions, put them down below. I know we all have a lot of the similar questions, but just so I can have a central place where they are. I'm also going to post this on my Instagram so I can have, you know, look at all the general questions that we have to ask them. And I will let you know what they say.
Anywho, what are we gonna do? We're gonna learn about things. What's going on, okay? We're not gonna say, oh, the Palestine-Israel conflict is so complicated. We're not gonna do that anymore. We're not gonna do that. Oh, I saw something else is happening in the Congo. I just can't keep up. No. Take some time. It doesn't have to be your whole day. You don't have to scroll through it all day. But learn. When people are sharing things on stories, don't just tap through. Why don't you click the post and read it? And then usually those same people who are making the infographics have websites or videos or pages to follow so you can learn information and learn how you may not have a direct hand in it, but if you're an American, your tax dollars are going to this. Or if you have an electric car or your smartphone, then the things being mined to fucking power these things are killing thousands of people in the Congo and amongst other things. Like, it is just be better than you were yesterday. That's all I can ask. You know what I'm saying? That goes for me too. So I'm gonna finish this Red Bull and hopefully you'll see these videos sometime soon. I don't know, I film videos all the time. Do I edit them? No. So moisturize, hydrate, sunscreen. See you in my next one. Bye.